The Civil Society Environment Fund was established in 2011 under a joint initiative of the governments of Denmark and Finland. The aim of the fund was to provide support to civil society organizations involved in environmental management in Zambia. These organizations adopt a broad variety of different approaches, ranging from policy advocacy to the protection of natural resources and biodiversity, and from awareness raising to practical community-level projects that are developing more sustainable livelihoods and incomes. Since 2011, CSEF has issued more than 150 individual grants to more than 70 distinct Zambian civil society organizations.
The first thing that surprised us as a community was a large chunk of our land being taken away to be given to one investor.
Isabi wale ipa yomu diario na ikanelo wala patikisho kuipa yesabi diabe ili shilingi lokulia.
So the mahe was exciting that we now drink mahe from the shops. So the tins were just everywhere and they were so ugly. They were making the town ugly.
Wafe mwina acid biyine be acid plants bali toku. Ngabale isula kulia kwine kumwabo kumugodzi. Fida waluluka fida soko tuikaliri. Nunka sana.
And half the times when you go to a dispose site, you find rodents, flies, smells, and what have you. And those things are generated by biowaste itself.
Then in a community, kwaleba kuposa fechi pose efisoso.
Charengesha kutimanzi ambe kupulira mdimba, kujua mitengo.
And most of the poachers are changing from using guns, they're using snares. They think the animals will be there forever, forgetting that that's how we lost the black rhinos because of poaching.
The environment is shared by us all. It is our shared home and our shared responsibility. In Zambia, the environment and the sustainable use of natural resources are inextricably linked to people's way of life. They are the keys to both livelihood and health. They are the sources of nutritious foods and the cornerstone of Zambia's economic future. Zambia faces several serious environmental challenges, including land degradation, loss of biodiversity, unsafe waste management, water pollution, and inadequate management of natural resources, to name but a few. Climate change, too, poses serious threats to Zambia's environment, its people, and its economy, most especially in terms of food security. Zambia, like all of the world, needs to adapt to the environmental and climatic changes that are taking place. Where possible, it needs to develop strategies to mitigate these changes, and its people need to develop new practices that will enable them to cope with these changes as they occur. Zambia must protect its environment as the great asset that it is. Civil society organizations can play a vital role.
Yeah, I think during the process of the project, we encountered a number of groups that had special cases, and for us, those are the groups that we think really showed indications that the community-based environmental committees can actually function. One of them is the Mufulira group, which was heavily affected by acid mist from the mine, who brought in a new technique of getting, or should I say, extracting copper from the ore using acid. And the community is just about 30 meters away from the mine plant, and they were affected by the mist, which was coming from this irrigation of acid on the ore. Most of those communities were affected by the acid, and they were complaining, and yet they did not know where to take their complaints to. So CBE came in and we trained them, and through our training we were able to make them into a group that was meaningful in their debate. They understood what they were talking about. So of course, I would have loved to continue with them.
We even made the courtesy call to Copper Belt Provincial Minister and went down to Karurush. The first entry point was the district council. We explained the issue and tried to mobilize, to try to make assessment more like a baseline, to know how much do they know about such happenings in their district? And actually we were happy in terms of the response, because they said that they know quite a lot on what is happening socially, but scientifically they couldn't tell to what extent the damage is and how it probably its impact was on the people. And we promised them to say, we are here, we would like to help out this. We are going to conduct scientific tests and get people along and see how we can push this issue. So that process really helped us, because even when we went to the mine, we had all government officers from line ministries, including ZEMA representative. And that gave us an opportunity to access information from the mine. And then we also wrote a management representation when we finished a study, to give the mine a chance to have a say on the findings of our study. And after that, we decided to try to engage them on how best we can find an amicable solution regarding the damage that has been caused.
The importance of wetland project is really because without trees cover, the water depleted, mostly because of the population, the growth of the population. Trees were being cut indiscriminately, and later on we found out that in fact wherever there was water, because the ground was just dry, it was even cracking up because of lack of water. So the project, when it was started, it helped to teach, although very few people were involved, but it has shown that it can actually help in reversing the trend.
The CSEF grant to PPHPZ was utilized to do drainages in Mulenga, Kamatipa, Kawama, and Lipuskilo. And all these are informal settlements where Federation is present. We also used the grant to establish a nursery, a garden nursery, as well as in Kawama, as well as greenhouses in Kawama and Kalelushi, St. Marcelin's area. So the whole essence of the drainages was to be proactive in establishing these drainages where they were non-existent, to reduce the incidence of flooding, which also has the ripple effect of high incidence of waterborne diseases within these settlements.
In Zambia, civil society organizations and the ordinary citizens that they represent have come to realize the important role that they must play. They are raising their voice and working to ensure that these vital resources are protected and shared for the generations still to come.
South Luangwa and the Mfui area in particular was a very good area to set up the project, because it was a rapidly growing population on the edge of a national park, and there were lots of environmental problems, particularly human-wildlife conflict, deforestation, poaching, and all the other sort of problems that are associated with uncontrolled development on the edge of a national park.
So we spend a considerable amount of time darting and removing snares from wildlife in the area. Just to give an example, in the last 6 weeks we've immobilized giraffe, hyena, 5 different hyenas, a number of buffalo, a number of elephants, 4 lions, and I think a puku. So that's just to give you an idea of how much wildlife is being snared in the area. Apart from the veterinary aspect of it, we also have quite a large-scale annual conservation fun run program which highlights the negative effects of snaring and is meant to be a sort of, apart from a fun day out, it's meant to be like a community sensitization program, and we specifically target, highlight the effects of snaring in the area.
In terms of conflict, we are teaching the community, the way how we can reduce the conflict here in the valley. We can't finish it all, but we are just reducing. So we came up with the chill fences, blasting using muzzle loading guns before these ones, you see. On top of that, we are teaching farmers to grow crops which are not attempted from elephant raiding. From what we have observed, if we can compare the conflict from 2008, the conflicts were very much high, but now they are coming down just because of these things. So they are working well.
Zambia is richly endowed with great natural wealth and beauty, but those endowments are at risk. Streams are drying, soil is being eroded, air is being polluted, and biodiversity is under threat. Zambia and its development partners need to face these challenges head-on. The Civil Society Environment Fund has supported more than 70 civil society organizations working on the ground in critically affected areas across Zambia. These organizations are working to protect the environment and strengthen natural resource management. They are promoting good practices that combat environmental degradation and damage. They are playing a unique role. While poverty is a major underlying cause for many environmental problems, strengthened and sustainable management of environmental resources can play a key role in reducing poverty itself. Combating environmental threats and improving environmental sustainability require actions from all levels of society. Civil society organizations contribute to the implementation and enforcement of environmental legislation, awareness raising, sustainability and protection. These contributions are crucial. The Civil Society Environment Fund has supported Zambian civil society to raise its voice and raise its hands. With the help of civil society organizations, Zambia can and will grow green.
The greenery and gold has fallen down.